Yeah, like a jackrabbit. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that.
Hi,
hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So, I kind of want to shift the conversation about DEI a little bit away from culture because I don't know if that's necessarily like a helpful conversation to have. And I really want to talk more about representation. So 1 in 5 Americans currently is Hispanic. This country, like it or not, is not a homogenous country. We are a very diverse country. Mm-hmm. Do you not think that our legislators should be representative of the overall population?
I don't see a way that you can have a quote-unquote representative legislature with 435 members of Congress in a country of 340 million people, because you can divvy that up however you want. It's not by race. You could do it by sex. You could do it by gender. You could do it by sexual orientation. How exactly do you decide what is quote-unquote the representative group? And also, I don't believe that individuals ought to be represented based on group identity. So, for example, I'm Jewish. Jews are actually overrepresented in Congress. I don't think that we ought to decide exactly how many people in Congress are Jewish based on the Jewish population of the country. I think that's actually a pretty silly way to do representation.
Well, we don't have to do it systematically, but
Can I just ask you a question? Why is it always people that have weird piercings on their face that have these conversations? What makes you decide to do the bull ring? Can anyone in the comments explain it to me? What part of I'm expressing myself, man? Like what? What's with that? Can someone tell me what that is? Like, and if I judge you, are you gonna cry? Like, and then why the piercing here? What does that do? I'm sorry, but people think I'm crazy because I have a beard. Like, that's not crazy. I'm just lazy. But like, putting metal through your fucking top of your septum makes no sense to me. Like one little earring here, if you're a chick, sexy, get it. One little tattoo in the right place, get it, sexy. Putting a fucking Toro bolt in your nose, I never got it.
But fundamentally, there is an issue with the fact that we are not fully represented. Like,
and then you use all these words. The first thing I'm going to say is that this girl has no humor. There's no charm. She's like, blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't see Ben Shapiro fucking yucking it up, but he has a good sense of humor. He laughs a lot. Okay, go ahead.
The entire population is not represented. We have never had a black female president. I still have to pay taxes.
We've never had a
the
Jewish
whole
president.
concept is no taxation without. We have had a white male president. We've had like 45 of them.
Whether Jews count as white or not has been sort of an object of debate
for
quite a while. We do. Okay.
You do.
So, I mean, it depends.
Listen to this. This is a real thing, and you could argue that she's being racist. Jews, and I say this with a capital J, Jews have never considered themselves white. At least the Jews I know. We used to play a game called The Jews I've Been With. We used to play this game, me and my buddies. I think Stu did it too when we talk about, because there was traits about Jewish chicks. But we would say, well, the Jews I've been with. It was a really funny game. Jews don't consider themselves white. That's just a known thing. So it's kind of crazy that this chick who's black, I hate identity politics, and now this other black chick is laughing. Uh-oh, not good. Because I'll give you an example. I believe it was the guy who promoted the Mike Tyson fights. We got to show this clip and put it in. This will be great to help me sell my points. Remember that clip. And he kissed Mike. Mike kissed him on the mouth, and the guy was freaked out. I think his name was Sandy. But the reason why Mike had so many big fights, one of the reasons was this guy. But this guy got with Don King, who, took from Peter to pay Paul. But Mike was this, supernova talent. And this guy who he got with helped him, and he was Jewish. And he said, we've been persecuted. I know how to monetize your talent, your brilliance. And Mike said, great. And the guy promoted the fights along with Don King or whatever. I'm saying that this is an example of, if you look in boxing, there's always been Jewish promoters in the music business, Jewish businessmen, and they go in with the angle of, I've been persecuted too, which is true through history. Jews have been very persecuted. I know people are arguing right now about other stuff, but I'm just telling you, you can look through your history books and say they're one of the most persecuted groups. And so Jews had an affinity with the blacks, and they looked at guys like me and go, that's the bad guy over there. I'm like you, Holmes. So Jews, and they're kind of not white in the sense of they're their own thing. Jews, you could say it's a religion or a bloodline. I don't know enough about it, but a Jew is a vibe, right? Like a Jews are a vibe, right? They're their own thing. So and most Jews I know don't consider themselves white. Like I'm a white guy. I got swag or whatever, but Jews always just have their own thing. They're kind of like their own color too. I don't know. Does that sound bad? I don't know. So and blacks and Jews typically have gotten along because of that. So she says this, and watch this.
Depends according to whom, and that's a pretty recent development. Okay, so
basically everyone, it's a religion.
Judaism.
Do you not agree that you are a white man?
I mean, I think that it depends on the context in which we're discussing it.
So what are you, Ben? Are you not a white guy?
I mean, I'm a man of Jewish ethnicity, which is sometimes grouped with white and sometimes not. I mean, that's the more accurate way to put it. But when we're talking about with Jews who are which is not.
Yo, if this was the other foot, it wouldn't be good. Like, he's really defending his position. He's saying, look, I understand your confusion, but it is. Jews are literally their own thing. They have their own tribe. If you want to talk about tribalness, in the last pod where Johnny Mitchell was saying he had in different sects within the prison, the Jews probably would be with the Jews. They would be like with, the name of their crew would be called the Half-a-Hats. I don't know, but I'm saying is they're their own thing. So he's correct. And from what I know with the Jews I've been with. Oh, fuck, hold on. So she's going on a limb here, and I'm
seen Jews grouped with white and Jews grouped with not white. I've seen, are we just pretending that doesn't exist? That's a reality. However, as far as your generalized point, which is that we are supposed to identify people by group identity. If we don't have a black female president, somehow black females have not been represented. So Barack Obama was in no way representative of black females because he's not a female.
No,
he
was. He was representative,
so
but
he was
that's
half
the point.
representative. How do you do the math on this? And why?
You shouldn't do the math on it completely statistically, but the fact
You shouldn't
is
do the math on it at all. You should treat people as individuals. You should treat people as individuals.
Well, if you don't even want Kamala Harris to attempt to create DEI initiatives in office, then there isn't even going to be a conversation about it.
I mean, I don't think there ought to be a conversation about why we ought to be represented by race or by sex. I think that we are each individual people with individual ideas, and if that person represents my ideas, I don't care what sex, race, or sexual orientation they are.
I mean, to an extent, yes.
No,
but
entirely.
there is an issue with the lack of empathy in office. We need to be able to empathize and legislate for the people that are living in this country.
I was not
Do you
aware,
not believe that?
I was not aware that empathy is relegated to particular race solidarity.
No, but I mean, it's easier to be empathetic towards people whose experiences you can fundamentally understand based on your identity. Like, do you not believe that people have an inherent bias?
So first of all, I'm
based
not
on
sure.
identity?
I mean, we can start with the empathy itself. I'm not sure that empathy is always the best basis for actual public policy, because when you have group solidarity and empathy based on group solidarity, you're going to attempt.
That's ignorant. I understand what she's saying. There's things that I just can't understand. If I was a black, if a black woman in the culture can only understand with a black woman. I can understand that when you add hair, it's called a weave, and on a white girl, it's called an extension. And I can understand that black women really like long nails. These are jokes, but kind of not. But what I'm saying is there's just certain things that black women go through that I wouldn't understand. They usually do like to do a takeout bag from Chili's. I don't know why. They like that takeout bag. Am I in trouble? So what I'm trying to say is that, yes, there's just certain things within. I don't understand what it's like to get a period. So that's a woman thing. I don't understand what it's like to get a period on Crenshaw. That's a black woman thing. Come on, these are funny. And then no, but she's right. Like, as a black woman, she's only going to experience things with other black women. But there are black women in the hood that she doesn't seem very hood. So they'd be like, I don't get along with you. But what I'm trying to say is, yeah, you got to make people feel good, and you have to have people in there. You can't make a movie about slavery with no black input, okay? It's not going to be, if the story is about a slave, it should come from the black slave's perspective. You're going to need the black historians that know it and study it. And even if a white person does, you just have to have a black person because it's their story to tell, okay? You can have a white person help or whatever. So that makes complete sense. Or the first black coach on a team, whatever, those stories. This sounds bad, I guess. But what I'm trying to say is just don't do it to do it. Do it because the people are qualified. But yes, if I was a black woman and I saw all white men all day making decisions, I'd be annoyed because I'd be like, well, what the fuck? Does anyone hear my voice? Do they understand my pain? So I guess it's like I don't want somebody to be hired on DEI when they're flying an airplane. I just don't. It's too risky. You know what I'm saying? I just want the best person to fly the plane, best person to drive the bus, best person to defend me in a lawsuit, the best person. But like lesser jobs, sure, let's do it. That don't have to affect. Or it's just if and that sounds bad, but it's not. Like if they're high risk jobs, the best person needs to get the job. That's it. That's my opinion, and I think that's a reasonable opinion. If they're lower risk jobs and you want to fill quotas because you should, and we should, and everyone should have a chance, yes. But risky things, the most qualified person, I don't give a fuck if the person's there's a reason why there's not 3'8" guys in the NBA. They just, no matter how good you shoot, they're just not qualified to fucking, do the shit. I mean, why? If this is the case, there's no DEI in the NBA. There isn't. There's no DEI in the NBA. Yeah, like that would be hilarious, right? We don't do that. There's no DEI on football. Like Jimmy the Greek got fired for saying blacks are better athletes. It's just truthful. Like they are inherently. There are. My buddy was a D-back at a big school in Louisiana, and they called him White Lightning because it was rare. So, yeah, that's okay. But then there was racist things in football where they always thought the white guy was a better quarterback, and we're clearly seeing that wasn't. So blacks were you could say they were prejudiced against, and now you're seeing some of the best quarterbacks ever are black. And there's just 8 starting quarterbacks right now in the league, and they're all black that are great. They're the best ones. So qualifications is all that matters. But if it's working on a laundromat and you need more white people, sure. I don't know if that makes sense. This is all sounding so bad. But what I'm saying is if the job is risky, the best person has to do it. If the job is less risky, then that's the way it is. I don't want somebody operating on me as a DEI. But a person that never got that opportunity should be accepted in the UCLA medical school if there's a financial problem or whatever. And if they had the same education or whatever, even though it's a public school, and they outscore everybody and they show their skills and they're from fucking Bosnia and they're the better one, then they should be in. Let's just do that. But I understand if those people aren't getting those opportunities. But the best person should have the job. But I get it that other people are just born on third base, and that's not fair. I think AOC is good because she's like a Puerto Rican chick from the Bronx. I believe that's what she is, right? I mean, she seems like a Karen. She doesn't seem like a typical Puerto Rican chick I know from the Bronx. I think more Rosie Perez than I do AOC. But hey, it's good that she's involved. You don't have to agree with her policies, but it's good that she's involved because she represents. And she does. She was a bartender. She's the voice of the people. Dumb to not let Amazon go there. That was dumb.